Modern culture has given rise to this idea that we're all perfect the way we are, that we are all beautiful the way we are, that to criticize or judge someone is somehow an attack on their very being, though it is almost the opposite of that in most cases. I say almost because obviously there are people who think themselves high and mighty and will judge others by the sins of others, and never to look inward and judge their own sins. But to cut out all criticisms is giving the other person the same condition that the high and mighty person has. If one is never criticized, they can never grow as a person. But if one is told that they are perfect, and that if anyone was to criticize them, or judge them, then the criticizer becomes the high and mighty one, though the opposite is true. We are not perfect beings. We need criticism. If we are to grow in any area or field, we need someone to point out the flaws that we have. And to avoid that is dooming ourselves and other people to never growing or improving as a person, or in the field that we work in. I like to consider myself an artist, and one thing that has always bugged me is when I try to get criticism from someone, all they say is that it looks good. That doesn't help me. Maybe I should have been more clear that I wanted criticism, maybe, but simply telling someone it looks good or you are good doesn't really help anyone. But people are so averse to being told otherwise that they will go to extreme lengths to not to criticize them in any way, which ironically has given rise to people severely modifying their own bodies to somehow outwardly showing who they really are. People are so uncomfortable with themselves, even though they are told that they are perfect the way they are, that they will purposefully permanently damage themselves. I think that is because they are told that they are perfect the way they are, even though they know they are not, that they will do this. They think that because maybe one time they had a weird fantasy, that must be who they are, because somehow they're perfect. Which is contradictory, because if that is who they are, because they are perfect, then they wouldn't need to modify themselves so greatly. They would already be that thing. But we are not perfect. There's always room to become better. Not that modifying your body in an extreme way is improvement, but that our choices can become better, and what we speak and do can become more ideal. Human beings have to worship something. We are religious beings, whether we worship Jesus, or ourselves, or Molag Bal. We worship something. We make that thing the ideal. In our modern, self-worshipping time, we become our own ideals. And if we are our own ideals, then our most outlandish fantasies are the thing that we are. But that's not what we are. We are imperfect, messy, and sometimes psychopathic creatures. We need an ideal that is outside of ourselves, something to always be striving towards, something that we can never become, but always be aiming towards. Because if that ideal is something that we can acquire, then it is a lie. It is a farce that was given to us, or we somehow found in ourselves during our searching for something more. Because there is something more, there is an ideal that we can strive for, an ideal that we can never fully become, but an ideal that we can eternally be getting closer to. Personally, that ideal is Jesus. I can never be Jesus, but I can strive to emulate him more and more every day, every hour, every second. I cannot force an ideal on you. Not that I literally can't, but that I cannot force you to change what you worship, because then it becomes a false worship. But you do worship something. You do worship a god. Just please make sure that it is not the wrong god, and definitely not yourself, because that is a death spire, sometimes literally. Self-worship is self-destruction. If you are your own god, then your wildest fantasies become your driving actors, because then you are perfect, and everyone around you, everywhere, has to accept your wildest fantasies, as outlandish as they are, because obviously, you are God, which is insane. You are not God. You are not the ideal. You are not perfect. And that's okay. When someone is trying to help you, they are not trying to put you down. They're trying to raise you up. It's okay to not be perfect. None of us are. Self-worship will only bring you down. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and God bless.